Well, some preschoolers in Alexandria, Minnesota were none too happy and recently wanted their voices heard after someone vandalized their playground. So what did the 4- and 5-year-olds do? They told on somebody, but not in a way that you would expect. Dylan Holsenhaus has more.
For anyone who gets the life of a kid, then you know playtime is the time. Through the adult eyes of seeing it like it is, you can quickly be corrected after pointing out the sandbox.
Actually, it's corn.
The kids at Butterfly Hill Nature Preschool try to use that time to the fullest in their playground.
They broke our house for real. The house.
And when someone decided to mess with it,
They broke the glass on there.
they were less than pleased.
I felt gold, sand, and
Teachers say it's been happening repeatedly. Vandals come in and break items in the playground, leaving less space for the kids to play and more to fix.
There'd be one more thing broken from the weekend, or one more thing broken over the night.
So Ms. Kristen Peterson turned the frustration of both adult and kid into a lesson.
So we sat down at a group time one day, and whoever wanted to contribute to the letter contributed, and the things that they had to say are very funny. But like I said, it was awesome to be able to see the compassion that children have for others.
A letter to the editor of their local Echo Press newspaper and published this month. The nicest, angry letter you've likely ever read, asking the culprit to stop and not come back until they're nice, even offering up cardboard boxes instead of their equipment if they really needed to break something.
what if they broke the bikes?
Fortunately for Flynn Bockham and Brinkley Schmidt, it was not much worse, as this class takes the terrible act and turns it into a teachable lesson.
We're joined now by Josh Jensen from Where You At magazine. And Josh, first up on this week's list of 6 picks is Louisiana Derby.
That's right, one of the biggest days of the year over at the fairgrounds, closing out the new season. It is the big race leading up to the Kentucky Derby. And this year's favorites are 2 of Tom Benson's horses. You have Tom's Ready and Mo Tom. And if they win, then Tom will make some Mo money. They're expecting maybe some rain on Saturday afternoon. Could make the track a little interesting. There's also a ladies' hat contest. Should be a lot of fun over at the fairgrounds. Will be the last time for a lot of people to go there until about a month from now when it's Jazz Fest.
All right, well, Easter brunch at Red Gravy's up next.
This Sunday is Easter Sunday, big day at local churches. Also Easter egg hunts, chocolate bunnies. A lot of people go for brunch on Easter Sunday. Great place to check out is Red Gravy Cafe. They are holding a special Easter Sunday brunch and were named one of the top 100 brunch spots in the United States by Open Table. And if you don't have a reservation yet for brunch, you do definitely want to get on it ASAP.
And, of course, it is Easter, and next up is the Easter Parade.
This is a unique Easter tradition in New Orleans only. Chris Owens is hosting her 33rd annual Easter Parade. It's supposed to start at 1 p.m. That might get pushed back a little bit if there is rain. There's a big pre-party at the Crown Plaza Hotel. They're going to have a complete brunch and cocktails, and then the parade will head down Bourbon Street to St. Philip and come back up on Decatur. You can expect stuffed animals, Easter-themed beads, and lots more.
A lot going on. Here's the rest of your Where You At magazine 6 picks. Burgundy Burlesque. We have the Crescent City Classic. And Sweet Jones Live at LA Music Factory. And to find out more details about these events, you can head over to our website, WDSU.com. Well, of course, you can pick up the latest edition of Where You At magazine. Josh Danton, publisher of Where You At magazine. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again right here next week. Well, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies still around the city, and most of us are mainly dry, but we've had plenty of showers and thunderstorms close to the coast happening all morning, and we'll check out the radar in a second. But look at this live shot here from City Park, and that's, of course, the runners in the Crescent City Classic at the finish line there. Most of them are finishing up now and hadn't had too bad of weather for the race. I mean, no rainfall. It is a little bit cloudy, but overall, temperatures are pretty comfortable for it. Now, let's look at the radar here, and what we're seeing are some showers and storms, mainly close to the coast. We've been seeing them all morning, pretty much starting around, I'd say, about 4 to 4:30 a.m. But a lot of this now is pushing off toward, I would say, Mobile and Pensacola and even portions of Florida in that direction on the Florida Panhandle. Now, they're going to be dealing with some flash flooding potential because they're going to see some training of these storms. Around us, things are kind of winding down a little bit. We still do have a couple of storms around La Rose, Galliano. That's moving off toward Jean Lafitte. Nothing severe, but you could see plenty of lightning and thunder with these storms. Some wind gusts possibly up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour. As you can see, a pretty strong thunderstorm just moved through Buras, and that is moving off now into the Gulf and will push toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So zooming out now, see most of the strong storms are moving off in that direction, and things are starting to taper off, but expect just a few showers and storms for the rest of the morning. And then this afternoon, rain chances only about 20%. So as you look at the temperatures right now, mid to upper 50s north of the lake. We're seeing low to mid 60s on the South Shore, 59 over in Houma right now. Wind speeds are light, seeing calm winds in some locations. Today the winds will be out of the east to start off, and then we'll shift out of the southeast by this afternoon, only at about 5 to 10 miles per hour though. So here's the setup. We have this stationary frontal boundary offshore, and that's kind of where these storms are riding along there. You can see them starting around us and then riding along that front off toward the Florida Panhandle and Mobile, Alabama. This front, though, is going to start to lift to the north as a warm front tonight and into tomorrow. And so it'll be draped kind of right on top of us tomorrow, and so we'll have several rounds of showers and storms moving through, kind of like we're seeing this morning, except it'll be displaced further to the north, and so most of us will be under at about 80% chance of showers and storms for tomorrow. Watch what happens for the rest of today, though. Not much at all. Mostly cloudy, about a 20% chance for a light shower or two. And then overnight tonight, as that front lifts to the north, we're starting to see some showers and storms move in again. And then, as you can see, that line going to be going west to east tomorrow. This is around 10 a.m., so we could see heavy downpours in several rounds of it. This is indicating that most of the action will be on the South Shore at 10 a.m., and we'll continue to kind of be on the South Shore going into the early afternoon, but I do think a lot of the North Shore, also Mississippi Gulf Coast, going to see that rainfall tomorrow. That's why we're putting that at about 80%, and that will continue into the afternoon and early evening, but by late tomorrow night and into Monday, things will start to dry off. So unfortunately, it looks like Easter Sunday is going to be a little bit rainy. So as you look at the high temperatures today, we're getting up to about 76. It will be warm. We'll have a couple of coastal showers lingering around to the early afternoon. It will be mostly cloudy. A south wind at 5 to 10. Overnight tonight it's going to remain cloudy. It'll be muggy. A couple of isolated showers will be possible. We'll only drop down into the low to mid 60s overnight, so it's going to stay pretty mild. And the 7-day forecast shows that 80% chance of rainfall for Easter tomorrow. And then Monday and Tuesday were mostly sunny at 72 degrees. Those 2 days look like the best of the week coming up. And then you go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It looks like we're going to get into another pattern where we could have a couple of days straight of some rainfall chances. Farrah?
All right, Jesse, thanks so much. Well, with tax deadline right around the corner, you may not have completed your taxes yet. I know some of you are delaying the process. That's okay. You're in luck. We have some tips for you that may actually help you out. Joining me to tell me more is Kimberly Washington, a certified public accountant, to tell us how to prepare for tax season. We were just talking, we get a few extra days this year.
We do. We get actually a few extra days because the due date is actually April 18th this year, because April 15th is actually a holiday. So you get an extra couple of days to get those taxes done.
That's good. So what are some things that we typically overlook, would you say?
There are a couple of different deductions. One thing that I always talk about is called bad debt expense. And this is in a case where somebody may owe you money. You can actually claim it as a deduction on a tax return. But I always say be careful. This cannot be a case where if it was actually a gift, maybe a boyfriend gave it to a girlfriend, none of that. But however, if someone owed you money and it was a bona fide loan, you actually can take it as a deduction. And this is also the case as if a contractor may have started some work on your home and didn't complete it, you can still take it as a deduction.
Do you find that happens a lot?
Yes, especially we saw it a lot after Hurricane Katrina. May see it a lot too as we still had the recent floods, but that's something to think about if you fall into that category.
Okay, now let's talk about some other moves that taxpayers should consider. You know, it's overwhelming when you sit down and you're trying to put all your taxes together.
Right.
What are some things we need to keep in mind?
One thing to keep in mind, all the deductions that's available to you. One thing that I always talk about is American Opportunity Tax Credit too. That can be available for individuals who have children in college, or if you yourself is in college, you can use some of the expenses that you have and take it as a deduction on a tax return. But just get organized and start looking at some of those items, and definitely look through your bank statements because you may have some things there.
What is new this tax season we need to be aware of?
Definitely the Form 1095. Many people are receiving that form and thinking, what do I do with this form? But you're going to utilize this form so you can determine, the IRS rather, can determine whether or not you had insurance. Because keep in mind, if you didn't have insurance, you may face a penalty. So utilize this form, and for most of us, we'll just simply check a box and say we had insurance, However, for some people, though, they can use the form and the information to determine whether or not they'll get a refundable tax credit, which is called a premium tax credit. So keep those things in mind.
So what happens to the folks who did not have health coverage even for 1 month or 2 months? How does that work?
It really will depend, and there's a couple of different things you have to take into consideration. But one of the things that you want to keep in mind, if you did have a lapse, you may have to face a penalty, but there are different rules and different regulations. So you definitely want to go to healthcare.gov and find out more information, determine whether or not you owe a penalty or not.
So what type of people should actually seek assistance when filing their taxes versus downloading the software and doing it at home? Because it can be complicated and it's hard to know.
That's a good question. And keep in mind, there are a lot of different resources out here. VITA, which is called the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. They're set up throughout the Louisiana, also up throughout the United States. But they can help you and go through some of the deductions with you. So keep those things in mind, and that's actually free assistance too as well.
That's great. Well, that's why I pay people like you to do mine, so I don't have to hassle with it. But
Yes.
I know that's not for everyone,
Yes.
so it's good to have that backup.
Yeah, a lot of different free resources. Definitely look online. I also have some things on my website too at Kimberly.com that I try to just provide free information for those who may not be able to afford it.
Well, thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so happy tax season, everybody. The deadline, April 18th. Also, we have Kimberly's tips posted on our website as well with a link to hers, WDSU.com. That'll be up later after our show at about 10 o'clock. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Your pancreas may be a little small organ, but it's very vital to your daily function. What you need to do to keep it running smoothly to avoid pancreatitis.